Hello guys! I want to talk today. I haven't spoken to you guys in so long, and I'm kind of just in the mood to have like a little chitty chat about life and like philosophy and things that I've learned, and just kind of, I don't know, I just want to have a little chitty chat today. I'm just in the mood to like sit and talk and get some things out that I've been like processing a lot on recently, some things that I've been learning about recently, and I'm in the mood. So I just spent the morning cleaning my house. I woke up really early this morning and went to this local farmer to buy myself some flowers. And I can't stop staring at them because they're just incredibly beautiful. And I just keep thinking to myself how beautiful it is to go and get yourself like a gift like that. How beautiful it is to just like take the time out of your day to go and do something that you wouldn't necessarily go and do for yourself just because you feel like that is something that you feel like you need today. My face is incredibly white right now. Sun protection 101. Make your face completely white and the sun won't be able to get through. But I want to sit outside today because it's really, really warm. It's really warm in Australian summer, so I'm going to soak up the vitamin D while we have the opportunity to, because I know that I'm going to get to like 3 to 6 months down the road and be like, why is there no sun? Why do I not feel like I have sat in the sun in 10 years? So I've got to get that while it's available to me. It's actually incredibly hot in here. I have been living very quietly recently. I've just been not necessarily asking too much of myself and asking too much of my energy, just because I feel very introspective at the moment, very just focused on protection of myself. I'm being very, very considerate of what type of places I invest my energy into, and I'm realizing so much on like a deeper level than I ever have realized before, because I've always known this, but I guess I'm just allowing myself to live in that state. But I'm an introvert. I'm such an introverted person, and being around a lot of people and being around big groups of people consistently drains me. And for so long in my life, I have pushed myself to be in those environments. But a lot of the time I feel very much as if I'm forcing myself to be in those environments. My eyebrows are like very overgrown right now, so I notice I force myself to be in those environments, and I force myself to feel happy in those environments. But recently I have been noticing that I don't necessarily, it's not that I feel unhappy in them, I just don't feel 100% fulfilled in them, because for me, I'm somebody who benefits a lot from one-on-one connection and from connection when you're deeply connecting with somebody, and I find that in those bigger environments I'm never really able to deeply connect with somebody. I'm never really able to get to the level of connection with that person that I feel like is actually connection to my standards, to my understanding of what connection is. And so I will always end up in bigger groups of people, you know, kind of just on the outskirts, because it's firstly very overwhelming for me to be in big groups of people, because I can feel the energy dynamics of everything. I can feel like the social dynamics of everything, and it's very difficult for me to be present in those experiences. So I struggle because of that, and then I also struggle because I feel depleted, I guess, or I feel just the conversations that I'm having and the interactions that I'm having with people are not beneficial, because I don't feel as if they're true depth connection conversations, which is fine to have. I was actually reading a study about small talk, and small talk is kind of used to judge whether or not this person is safe to be around. So small talk has its benefits, but in terms of connection, it doesn't feel like you're connecting to anybody. It doesn't feel like you are getting much out of that interaction aside from a judgment of whether or not that person is like a good person to be around or not. Does that make sense? Having all of this time by myself has really given me the space to really focus on my individual self and really focus on how I feel about certain things and how I resonate with certain things, the type of different energies that I'm interested in bringing into my life and the type of space that I'm interested in having in my life, like the different things that I value. I really struggle to feel okay with being in this space of introspection type, I guess. And I was really struggling against this idea that, you know, I should be doing more, I should be out, I should be interacting with all these different people, going to all these different events, doing all these different things and amazing experiences and all of that. At the end of the day, I came back to this understanding within myself that those things don't actually bring me happiness. Those things don't actually bring me a sense of fulfillment to myself. And I've been thinking about this so much recently because I'm just questioning what it means to be happy for me as an individual. Like, what is my own personal understanding of happiness for me? Because I believe that every single person has their own personal understanding, right? Their own personal kind of like formula, I guess, that they have to figure out to understand what it is that brings them happiness. And I've really been trying to figure that out for myself because it feels very different to what a lot of other people portray as their happiness, whether or not it is their actual true happiness or whether it's just something that they're pretending to be happy, which I feel like can happen a lot, and I've definitely fallen into that trap a lot recently as well. I'm gonna get out of this room because I am absolutely sweating right now. It's so hot. And we're gonna set up outside. Look how cute this little outdoor setting is. Like, I will just be here in the sun. I just wonder whether that road noise is irritating. I really want to talk about happiness. For me, again, my understanding, happiness is just a state of mind that brings you this exuberant sense of inspiration and contentment and fulfillment. And for me, what happiness looks like for me is when I'm doing something and I get this overwhelming sense of the need to just be incredibly present in that moment and the need to just be incredibly aware of the environment that I'm in and what it is bringing me and what it's creating for me. I think I'm learning slowly that that is kind of like my parameter, is that the right word? Scale that I want to associate the things in my life against. I think it's really important to also create this understanding of what it feels like to be happy for you. This kind of like marker point. I always come back to this marker point. I guess it is versatile for every different topic as well. Create a marker point of like, okay, this is what happiness feels like for me. This is what it is for me. You're in an experience and you've done something and you're feeling this beautiful energy that you want to continue feeling for the rest of your life. Pinpoint that feeling, and that creates your marker. That is your individual marker of what happiness feels like for you, for your individual self. And so then when you're going out to go and do all of these new things and you're pushing yourself outside of your comfort zone, and then you're creating that sense of awareness and you're creating that sense of presence in that moment to understand what it's bringing for you, you can reflect and associate yourself back to that marker that you've initially created and reflect on whether or not this thing is bringing you close to that marker or if it's pushing you further and further away from that marker. And then that gives you like a reference point. That gives you a reference point to understand if you're doing things that are heading you in the right direction of creating what happiness feels like for you as an individual person, not what happiness feels like for everybody else in your life or like the societal constructs of the environment that you've grown up in, not what people are portraying and marketing happiness as to be, what happiness is for you as an individual person. Because I know so many of us, and me especially me, completely me, has fallen into the trap of observing what other people are doing and then trying to do those things and feeling worse because those things push me further away from happiness, and not knowing what the hell is going on and not knowing why I'm feeling bad in this situation or I'm not feeling fulfilled, because you end up feeling like something's wrong with you. You end up feeling like, yeah, like there's something wrong with you because everybody else is seemingly finding happiness in this one specific thing or in this certain lifestyle or this certain way of living. And then you create that lifestyle and you put so much energy into living that way. And it doesn't feel good to you. And you end up sitting there being like, what's wrong with me? Everybody else is feeling happy that way. Everybody else is finding fulfillment and contentment that way. Why am I not finding that for myself? What is wrong with me? And so I think when you're learning to any type of aspect about yourself, when you're learning to understand that aspect about who you are as an individual person, so easy to look to other people and say, well, they're doing those things, so that must be the right path. That must be the thing that I need to do in order to create that aspect for myself. Say it's like happiness or self-confidence or really anything, creating your business, the way that you live your day, the way that you interact with people, what your interests are, your creative aspects, your hobbies, your expression outlets. If you're looking at somebody else and reflecting on what they're doing and then trying to create that for yourself, and it's not actually bringing the sense that you wanted to create for yourself, don't let that stop you from continuing to try and figure out how to create that for yourself. That just means that that thing definitely isn't going to create it for you. And you can check that off your list and be like, you know what? It's fine. I don't need to actually have that thing in my life now because I know for a fact I have tried and it has not worked to bring me this aspect into my life. You kind of have to have those 2 points of understanding of being strong and confident enough in yourself to push yourself outside of your comfort zone to try something new that you may not have tried before, that you may absolutely hate once you end up doing it. So you have to kind of push yourself enough and be strong enough in yourself enough and be willing to fail by doing that thing. Be willing to step into the space of maybe not feeling fulfilled and maybe not being happy by doing this thing. And then you also have to have the kind of presence during that moment, during doing the thing of whatever it is that you're doing. Have the presence to recognize and notice how you're feeling during that thing, how you're feeling after that thing, and how you're feeling as a result of that thing. And just be very conscious of the energy that it brings into your life. I just had to do a little double check that it wasn't incredibly overexposed. I absolutely love hot summer's days. My heart is like, oh, oh my gosh. Oh, I don't know why, I just feel this is very ironic. I don't know where that feeling's coming from. I just feel like it's incredibly ironic that I am now currently speaking to you guys about creating happiness for yourself, and I've spent so much of my life trying to figure out how that to make that for myself. I've spent so long doing so many things that have been encouraged, I have been encouraged to do in order to find happiness. It's interesting the level of happiness that things can bring you, because I think things can bring you a surface level happiness, a kind of, what do you want to call it? I guess, yeah, just surface level, a fleeting happiness, where happiness is
attached to that moment, essentially. Like, you're in the moment's beautiful, you're happy, the moment ends, you're back to being you. You know, you're back to normalness. And then there's like a deeper level of happiness, which I think is what I'm trying to tap into at the moment, which I think is like the foundational feeling that I'm trying to really understand at the moment. And this happiness is a happiness that has almost like a overflowing effect, has like a effect that is creative, if that makes any sense at all. Like, this happiness feeling is something that you experience a moment, and the moment itself isn't necessarily something extravagant. It's not something that you're going to run around and tell all your friends and family about. You're not necessarily going to share about this moment with a lot of people, because the moment itself was something almost seemingly insignificant, but it was what was the feeling that was created in that moment, that was the thing that allowed you to create this sense of happiness for yourself. And you can't really explain that to anybody unless they've been there in that experience and experienced it with you as well, because they're not going to understand the level of connection that was felt in that moment. And so I think that's the deeper level. And these things are, this sense of happiness is something that kind of like lights you up from the inside out. It kind of like creates this sense of life energy, I guess. I wonder if that's the word. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. It fuels you because it's inspirational and it's empowering and it is exciting in like a way that encourages you to want to create that for yourself again. So this energy is something that, you know, you've experienced it in one seemingly insignificant moment, and then you've got this extra energy inside you, this fulfillment energy inside you, that you then want to use to continue to figure out how to create that experience for yourself again in different ways, so you can continue to experience. So then your energy and your focus becomes focused around how to continue using this energy, like investing this energy, I guess, essentially, into continuing to create these moments that bring you so much fulfillment and contentment and happiness within yourself. That's the deeper level that I'm trying to get to at the moment. That's the deeper connection point that I'm trying to experience at the moment. But going back to creating happiness for yourself, because I love how this intertwines so well with what I talk about with your authentic self and trying to connect to who you truly are. Figuring out your own dynamic, your own needs, and your own values and your own desires that need to be satisfied in order for you to feel connected to yourself and content within yourself. Once you have figured out that kind of like formula for yourself, things end up becoming so much easier because you understand the foundation of what you need and what's important for you to feel connected and content within yourself. And you also, a huge part of it as well, which is something that I've been, I guess, like allowing myself to be a part of in a deeper way recently, is allowing yourself to be the unique version of who you are, allowing yourself to be different to what a lot of other people are, and allowing yourself to kind of stand out from what is the normal or what is the expected of you. And just being okay with standing in that uniqueness. Maybe you're not different, but maybe you're doing things differently to what other people are doing, and you're just kind of paving your own way and going on your own direction and following your own path, and allowing yourself to be guided by what feels right and what feels wrong to you, rather than being guided by what the normal steps are. Everything is open to you. Everything is a possibility. Everything is something that everything is something. You end up just allowing yourself to be guided by what feels good for you. And that ends up removing this kind of, how do I explain this? That ends up removing this desire for things to look a certain way because you have this idea in your head that you should be at a certain place in your life because you are in a certain time zone of your life. Does that make sense? It removes kind of like the expectation of what is expected of you at this certain point in your life because you're like, well, that doesn't matter because that's based off external things that don't know what is right and good for me as an individual. That isn't, those external things aren't based off what feels good for you, right? And you want to feel good. Everybody wants to feel good. That's the goal in life, right? To just feel good about who you are and what you've done and how you've achieved certain things and the person that you've become because of the different things and situations that you've put yourself in. So how can an external assumption and expectation of who you are dependent on where you're at in life be a accurate guide for what is going to make you as an individual, unique, different person feel good? That doesn't make sense to me. And when things don't make sense to me, like when 1 + 1 doesn't equal 2, and I'm like, this doesn't add up, I kind of question that concept and I question that idea a little bit to be like, well, what if something else happened? What if we did things a little bit differently? What if we looked at the things that do make individual people feel good and focus on that as the guiding marker and focus on that as the like map to the treasure, you know, instead of this idea that I don't even know where it came from. I don't even know where this idea came from that success looks like A + B = C, you know? Anyway, I think that's enough talking for today. I think that is enough on the topic of happiness. It's everything that I wanted to share with you guys, but I just want you to kind of just think about what happiness means for you. And I'm actually really curious to understand the different things that bring you happiness as well. Just learn about different ways that other people are finding this feeling of contentment and satisfaction for yourself, because I think we have so much to learn from other people going through similar processes that we're going through and learning from their own experiences and understanding what it is about that thing that specifically that has brought them happiness as well. So I'm really curious to hear what you guys are like experiencing with this, if you have even thought of this concept before, if it's something that is like resonating with you and something that you feel like you're kind of on the same path, on the same like path of introspection within yourself and what conclusions you're coming to for yourself as well, because the more I learn about every topic and the more I learn about what it means to other people as well, the more I feel like I have a deeper understanding of that topic. And all of these different things, all of these different self-concepts are things that fuel my interest so deeply. So just hearing other people's perspectives on the same topic gives me an even deeper understanding and a different perspective to kind of like expand my own understanding of it as well. So I think it's really cool to come together and like talk with each other about these different types of things so we can continue to build deeper understandings of what they are, and just hear other people's experiences with them and learn from that as well. Maybe we'll see how I'm feeling, but maybe we'll try and do more of these videos about different things that I've been focusing on, different self-concepts. If you are interested in these types of conversations, I am looking at opening up just kind of like a platform or some type of community-based area where people can come and have these conversations on maybe like a weekly or a monthly basis, and we can just like integrate our knowledge together and learn from each other in more of like a scheduled and more of like a conversational way, because this is just really me talking to you and you maybe picking up some of your ideas, but I'm actually interested in creating a space for people to come together and have in-depth conversations about these different types of things so I can hear other people's perspectives rather than just this one-way street type thing that's going on at the moment. I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. I hope part of this at least resonated with you and that you're taking something beneficial away from it, and that you are connecting to yourself deeper because of it. That's my goal. So, see you next time.